I want to try a little bit of a different approach, an additional approach on my point that reality is an idea. I mean, I want to separate it into two parts. The first part is this whole model that I presented, that all we get from reality is perceptions, and we build a model. And so whenever we talk about what really is, well, that's in the model and not in reality. And this is it doesn't matter what you call these things. I mean, I just use the word reality to describe the external world. But there is that model, and if you agree with that model, then that's the first issue. If you disagree with that model, let's talk about it. But if you agree with that model, that we are really stuck talking about models and evidence, and there is no bridging to talking about reality as such, you know, um, then we should discuss how to assign meanings to which sounds and which words are going to mean what. And the thing is, I really feel that most people do believe in this model. I mean, when somebody tells you something, you don't take their word for it because you know they're describing a model in their brain of the real world. So I think most people, well, even if they don't admit it, see things that way. But once you see that model, then it's just a matter of what are we going to call things. And we can call, the material world reality if we want. But as I've said, so I won't repeat too much, to do that means that we would have to change the way we talk about reality. We would have to say the reality is I collected the following evidence. That's the reality. That's the closest you can get to reality. But we want to get closer. We want to take the evidence and deduce what it might mean. Okay, so we build a model. But that model, even if it's accurate compared to our perceptions, may just be functionally equivalent or functionally approximate to what's in reality. So I don't think we want to talk about reality as though it's just reporting, I see green and I see lines and I see gray. I think we want to say, I see trees and there's someone driving and someone looks happy. We want to make these statements about our deductions, and those deductions are always going to be our model. So I think it's more likely the word reality needs to just be gotten rid of. And you see this in science. They don't talk about that a lot. They talk about empirical science and modeling. Okay? And empirical science, that's the senses, and modeling, that's the models. And rather than reality, that's what they talk about. But if you did ask them about reality, they'd talk about the empirical evidence. That's what we know about reality. We don't know any of the deductions about reality. Even when our deductions could be used to reproduce what we see, we don't know that that's what reality is using to produce what we see. And in fact, we pretty much know it can't be exactly what reality is using.